Springfield's Rock Station Q102. I am very excited today because I'm talking with one of my favorite dudes in the business, Mr. Austin Meade. Man, you've had a crazy 2024.
Uh, yeah, really last year too. This has been my first slow week in about a year.
Well, I appreciate you
And by
taking
slow,
time for us.
by slow, I mean just not on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
So
Being at home and relaxing now,
I'm not relaxing, but yeah, trying to catch up on not fixing shit for an entire year. Yeah.
huh? That does not sound fun at all. So, Austin, man, your music is a mix of rock and country and even some psychedelic vibes. What inspired that blend of genres?
Um, just my musical taste, I guess. I mean, I've my left leg, looking at it right now, it's just got a bunch of tattoos of records that I grew up listening to. It's anywhere from Tom Petty, Arctic Monkeys, Whitesnake, Kings of Leon, Audio Slave, Deftones, Mac Miller, Paramore. I just grew up listening to like all different genres of stuff. Really, uh, I think the lyrical content and like the vocal melodies and the guitars are what usually draws me in. So I've always just wanted to be able to morph that, with my own music into whatever I'm feeling is the best type of music for that mood or lyric that we're kind of trying to get across or that I feel just represents the song best. So yeah, a lot of times that means making crazy genres. So sometimes people love that and sometimes people don't know how to take it.
That is true. Unfortunately, sometimes it is that way. So, how's it been being a dad? I mean, it's definitely changed your life as a human and a musician, right?
Yeah, I mean my writing's definitely changed a little bit. I still have a lot of fun with it. I've written a couple of songs for him since he was born that have been pretty deep, I think. So working on that stuff, but I guess just trying to figure out the balance of life is definitely a lot different. You got to come home and then be on your game too, because he's really fast getting into everything. So it's not like, I used to go on a tour and then come home and have a little bit of time to relax, but now it's a little bit different than that. It's like never stop going type thing.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Hoping that I don't know. I just want to build something that he can be proud of, and that he can hopefully be a better man than me, and like talent wise and work ethic wise. So that's kind of what my dad and grandfather passed down to me the most. I think was just like the always going, always trying to work. So I really want to instill that in him. So
Yeah.
trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, you've played a lot of cool venues over your years. Are there any venues that really stand out as your favorite, or maybe some that you want to play in the future?
There's always a bunch I want to play. I've never played the Gorge. I've never played Red Rocks. Those are the big boys. We have done a lot of amphitheaters, and those are cool. But there's something about like getting your own headlining crowd into a small club, and just the energy is insane. Just I think last week we did Green Hall, which is like the first venue we ever really sold out on a 1,000 cap scale. And I think we've been back there to headline that a handful of times. That's not too far from where I live, so it kind of feels like a bit of a hometown show. But I would say, some of my favorites, usually, Green Hall's awesome. There's Floor's Country Store down in San Antonio, and there's one pretty close to me called Whitewater Amphitheater that's just this beautiful outdoor, like 5,000 cap venue that's on the river. So those are always a lot of fun because you're not immediately trying to haul butt out of the show because you're already close to home.
Yeah, yeah.
So those generally are fun. I'm trying to think, man. We did some crazy theaters with ZZ Top, like just old historic theaters up in the Northeast, and a lot of those start to run together. But
Yeah.
those are always a cool vibe. I think we did Uncasville, Connecticut with Godsmack and I Prevail, I think, and that was pretty wild. That was Mohegan Sun
Oh,
Casino, but it was like we played in like the hockey arena, and
that's cool.
the production at those places is always just so massive. It's really cool to hear your songs coming out of a huge PA. Same thing happens at the festivals. Doing a lot of the Danny Wimmer festivals, like Welcome to Rockville and Rocklahoma, and last year we did Louder Than Life and Aftershock, and obviously on those, you know, we're an earlier band, but we've worked our way from being the very first band on stage to being able to be like the, I don't know, 4 o'clock band instead of the noon band. And so it's pretty cool to walk out and just see a sea of people already there, like with their ears open, ready to take in some rock.
Absolutely. Do you have any pre-show rituals or any superstitions or anything like that?
Not really superstitions. I'm really hands-on with our productions, so I'm usually just double checking everything, like our lighting cart's good to go, or you know, just the basics of like, I don't know, like a line check. Like, is everything coming through good? Does everybody have batteries? Like, that's probably shit that I shouldn't be worried about, but I
Yeah.
always am because I've just been doing it for so long that usually that's the first thing. If something goes wrong, it's generally something simple, and that can kind of spiral into more stuff going wrong or a bad performance. Like if you can't hear yourself on stage and you're playing to 10,000 people, how are those people supposed to enjoy it? Because that's really, it has to be a workable situation for you as the front man up there, really at any instrument. But man, I just kind of make sure that all of our shit's going through the PA and then throw one up to the Lord and pray that it sounds like a badass rock show. So
Hell yeah. Now you mentioned Rocklahoma. We had a team there this year. How was that for you guys?
I had a great time. I thought we crushed it. That was probably the most crowd surfers we've ever had at a
Nice.
show. It was like a, I think on the second or third song, the crowd surfing started, and it was just, it looked like an endless stream of people just kept coming in. So I had a great time at that one, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully he'll be back next year. We're planning on being there. I just couldn't make it this year. But yeah, I was trying to make it just to go just to see you, but it just the cards didn't work out this year. What's one thing about the music industry that people would be surprised to learn besides, having to do shitty interviews with radio people? I mean, clearly.
Um, it's a really small industry once you get into it. Like, yeah, there's a lot of bands that come and go, and I feel like especially with like the resurgence of a lot of people doing like their 10 and 20-year anniversaries, like a lot of bands are coming back out of the woodwork that weren't touring for a long time. But you know, a lot of the managers know each other, almost all know each other. And so that means that like the talent buyers and the venues generally have done work together if they've been around for any extended period of time. So it's a lot smaller than you would imagine from the outside looking in, as far as the connection perspective. And I guess just being around for about a decade, you know, you see artists come and go, like whoever's currently hot, you know, can come and go, and some guys do have like a long period of a career, which hopefully that's hopefully that's where we're at. I'm hoping that the longer the rise, the longer the fall type of thing. Um, but I think just being able to persevere through like all the different changes that happen in the industry, like different festivals and different venues that pop up, and then all of a sudden could have been your favorite venue, and sometimes it's just not there anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that can force you to just recultivate a crowd in that area sometimes, which let's say you've worked at building a crowd at this certain venue for 5 years, and then all of a sudden the venue's not there, then it's kind of like, well, crap, where do we go put on a show? Like, where do we bring these people to? And it's been a pretty aggressive transition over the last 5 years of venues leaving, popping up, coming back, renovating. So the biggest thing for me is just like making friends around the country so that if we do get into like a crappy travel situation that I can call somebody and figure out how to get to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've always got your back here in Springfield, man. So
Yeah.
the Blackout collaboration with Danny from Asking Alexandria, how did that come about? Because that is so, I mean, I love the original version that you did, and I love this collaboration too. How did that come about though?
Um, I've been a fan of theirs for a long time, and Danny, I believe, had just moved to Nashville, which is where my manager Corey Wagner is based out of. And Corey was working alongside his manager, and I go to Nashville to like do some songwrites and work with producers the last couple years, and he just happened to be moving to the area, and Corey got this idea. He was like, "What if we stick you guys in a room together?" And so I guess they sent Danny the song, and it it was right up his vibe. He likes to have a good time, so he loved the song, and I just let him do his thing and crank out a verse for it. And then I was like, "Hey, what if we split these verses? Because I don't know, your standard feature, like the feature voice usually doesn't come in until like the chorus or the second verse." I was like, nah, let's hit him early with it. That's why I think he comes in on the third line. I think I go, I smell the cigarettes. Looks like my phone is dead. Stupid shit again, still hanging with the same crowd. So he comes in on the fourth line. He's like, tequila in my veins. I wanted to change it from the beginning to have people go, wait, is that different? Like it's already different.
Yeah.
Um, that was kind of my goal with that one. And yeah, after that, I don't know, we just made friends. So we played a couple festivals with those guys down in Florida. And come to find out, I live really close to their drummer, James. So we went out the other night and saw the Jelly Roll show in San Antonio. And like,
Nice.
they're all just great, great down home dudes.
Yeah.
So it's been it was definitely a good connection and a good friendship. They've been doing it for a long time. They're road dogs as well. So like, they know
Yeah.
how it goes on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've actually worked with a buddy of mine, Keith Wallen. You know, he's doing his own solo stuff, but he's also in Breaking Benjamin. And I was actually talking with him about you a couple weeks ago because I was like, dude, I
Right
didn't even
on.
realize that you. I guess he's working with you on some other stuff too.
Insignificant Other, which was one of our recent releases,
Yes,
and then we
that's
have
what it
one that's
was.
supposed to come out next. It's I think our next release is called Pretty Little Waste, and it was yeah, that was me, Keith, um, Kyle Odell, who is kind of like the mixing guy and the producer on some of these latest singles, and then David Willie, my lead guitar player, who's been with me for like coming up on 9 years, I think. But
Nice.
yeah, we got in the room with Keith, and we were just shooting the shit, joking around, and he's got a great ear for melody,
Yeah,
and just kind of simple guitar riffs, and it fit right with what we were doing.
nice. Yeah, he's a super great guy. And speaking of the newest single, Face of the Freak Show, that's out now. I'm trying to get an edited version, by the way, to play on Q, but I cannot get a hold of one. But what's the story behind that new song?
Um, man, I was just having fun. I wanted a brother song or like a sister song to Blackout, just
Yeah.
kind of the mindset that I was in, and whoever you would portray as the main character in Blackout, I'm like, okay, what's the next step of this character's life or of this song's life? And I felt like the riff for Face of the Freak Show was just so nasty. I think we sing the laws over it, like la 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 la
Yeah.
la la la
Yeah.
la. That started as a guitar riff from David Willie, and it just sounded like a circus carnival thing to me. And I was just I was just in like a really sassy mood that day, and I was like, I'm gonna start a song off really aggressively. So that's why I just start off, quit making me feel guilty just because I love to be alone, bitch. I'm too fucking busy to always be picking up my phone. I just thought that was like such a attention grabbing opening to a song, and just honest from my heart sometimes. Like, you're always around people on the road, and sometimes like you just if you've been doing it for like months at a time and you're just in the middle of a tour, like to go out every single night and to like put that smile on your face. Like I always try to go to merch, and I always try to be as grateful as I possibly can. And I am, but some days I get worn out, dude, from just putting on the show, because there's a lot that goes on behind it. Like the show is the best part, 100%, but a lot of times you've driven 10, 12 hours to get there,
Right.
and it's not always like the smoothest half a day of travel. So I think a lot of folks, yeah, if you're coming to a show, like you might drive a couple hours, but to do that like every single day, over the period of months straight and then turns into years, like it can be pretty exhausting whenever you're in charge of a lot of the logistical parts of the travel. So I was just feeling sassy that day, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting this down on the paper. And I think there's also some references in there just to maybe the attitude that some fans might have, not only just with me, but I mean just in with artists in general. Like we are super grateful for folks to be there, but sometimes at the end of the night, there's like a lot of people that are just absolutely sloshed and hammered, and like you sit there and yeah, you talk to people and like you take in their stories and you listen. That's what keeps you going, right? Is like how appreciative the people are and how much they love it and how much they listen. And then every now and then you get somebody who's like offended because you don't necessarily want to go to their after party at 4 a.m. that's 45 minutes away. You're like, man, I would love to, but like I just don't have the energy or the time. Like we got to leave here in 2 hours. And one or two times I've gotten some people that have gotten sassy with me about that. Like, okay, well, screw you if you don't want to come over. I'm like, dude, I just met you like at my table like
Right.
30 minutes ago. Like, you want me to hop in your car? Like, I mean,
Right.
I got shit to do.
Yeah, it's not
So it
sketchy.
was that's not an everyday occurrence. Like that's a rare thing. But and
Yeah.
dude, sometimes I'm down. Sometimes somebody's like, yo, you want to come, shoot some hogs? I'm like, let's go. But
Yeah.
it's like I can't go to every barn party like I used to when I was 21. I got some things I got to handle and take care of and try not to kill myself on the road from not sleeping.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. Dude, where has Spicy Stacy been? I miss
That's my
videos.
wife. Yeah, that's my wife.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah. So I like to, when I'm in the songwriting process, I like to do a couple things. I like to kind of break down that, I don't know if it's necessarily a third wall, but to like let the listener in on what may have contributed to the ideas behind that song. And especially in the abstract art record, there was a lot of like character play
Yeah.
throughout the songs where I wrote all of that record based off of like three or four characters in my head, um, just on the different situations. And yeah, Spicy Stacy, I think that's on why am I going blank? Late Night Letdown, I think is the
Hmm.
song that she pops in on. And that was just about the same character that I was writing about in Red Roof Estates. Like Red
Yeah.
Roof Estates is from the point of view from the guy who thinks he's like some hot shot. And he's like, "Oh, you don't want to go home with me? Well, you're missing out on my penthouse suite, but it's actually at a Red Roof Inn." Um, and I think I actually I did put her back in a couple of these new songs that we've been working on, which I love. She doesn't necessarily say Spicy Stacy, but you can recognize the voice. But I've always just loved like having her voice in some of the songs. I even did it on the Blackout record. If you go back and listen to the song Something New, there was like a voicemail that she had left me because I was gone for a couple months, and I was like, okay, that's going in the song. It just was really authentic and heartfelt. And then I found a way to kind of do like a fun play off of that, where it's not like every insert into the song has to be like this heartbreaking thing. It can be like this fun, playful thing where you do exactly like you're saying, like where's that character at? Like I miss that
Yeah.
character. So it's a another like thumbprint that I like to put into our shit. It's just creative, fun.
I love that. I love that character. And you're right, though. I've noticed that with that last album that there were some characters in there that kind of crossed over, even into the music videos, which I absolutely love your videos, man, because they're so much fun. Like they're just It's like, hey, let's just have fun. I know Blackout was kind of all over the place, a little bit not necessarily serious, but it had a different tone to it for sure. But yeah, I mean, your videos are fucking awesome. I love them.
Thanks. Well,
So Halloween's coming up. Oh, go
Blackout
ahead,
was
dude.
my
Sorry.
tribute. Blackout was my tribute to Fight Club. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. So most of our videos have some tip of the hat to a memorable movie or, memorable character. I mean, Stoner Fantasy is literally us having fun like as if we're Super Troopers in a Wayne's World and a little bit of Big Lebowski in there.
Yeah.
And even on the Varsity type video, like we kind of did this reference to the National Lampoon's thing where there's the girl in the red swimsuit that like pops out of the water, and that's on a couple other videos as well. Um, so I just for Blackout, I thought that like Fight Club was the move. I just felt like the movie Fight Club is literally about the main character blacking out, not knowing what he's doing. And we used a different director for that one than we had before, which is kind of why the tones look different.
Yeah.
His name was John Volpine. I think he did a great job. But yeah, that one just felt like the perfect fit to kind of emulate the Fight Club vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. It went hand in hand. So Halloween's coming up, man. Are you big into it or not?
I have fun with it. Usually I'm touring. I don't think I'll be on the road this year, so I'm sure we'll do the standard American trick-or-treating night or something. But yeah, I got my little guy's got like the Dumb and Dumber um, tuxedo, so I got to find mine. So I think we'll go
Nice.
as
Nice.
matching Harry and Lloyd. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I've had some people in there. I've actually been surprised on the response. Some of them just not into it at all, which is, I'm obsessed with it. So I guess maybe I'm just a little different. Do you have any like favorite scary movies or anything that you watch?
Growing up, I would always be the kid that was like scrolling through the channels and watching the Friday the 13th. And then, especially when I was real little, like I wasn't supposed to be watching it. So a scary part would come up and I'd like have to change the channel real quick, so mom and dad didn't hear me scream or whatever. But
Yeah.
uh, my wife's a huge fan of Beetlejuice. So we've been going back to watch that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And dude, we watched the old one the other day. That shit is hilarious.
Right?
Like the main character is just so funny, dude. That's probably one of our favorites. We went back and watched The Shining again, which is a great movie too. So we've been kind of diving back into those like
Nice.
80s, 90s, early 2000s classics this year.
Hell yeah. So you looks like you have maybe one show left this year. What's 2025 looking like for you?
I don't know. I have no idea right now, man. We're kind of in a new chapter at the moment, so we're still figuring out what's going to go on. I do have more than one show at the end of this year. We're about to announce a couple. I'm going up to Pittsburgh, Kansas, to play a show for Pittsburgh State University on October 18th.
Nice.
And then I know that we're doing Floor's Country Store in San Antonio like the day after Thanksgiving. And I think we're going to announce a pretty special acoustic Christmas tour here soon.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be in December. But right now I'm just trying to catch up on life since I've been gone for so long. I think we're possibly picking up and finding a new house, and so I'm trying to kind of handle some of those things at the current moment. Uh, on top of just waiting for my little dude to start walking because he's pretty dang close to that. So
Cool. That's
I'm
that's
not sure.
awesome.
I mean, we have a Shiprocked the festival. It's like a cruise. We're doing that in January. I'm really excited about that one. And I would assume that in the next month or so, we'll probably gather an early 2025 tour. And dude, I've been working on a lot of music. Like I've been flying in and out, just trying to compile new stuff. I've got quite a few projects I've been working on. So I'm just trying to be like as creative as possible.
All
Cool.
right, man. Appreciate your
I'll see you
time.
soon. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later,
Peace.
brother.
Used to think the world was going to